Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Art After Hours. I'm Shauna Robeson with Creating Space Coastal. And in this video, I'm going to continue our series of guided intuitive art journaling. And today's subject is going to be nature and how transformation happens in nature. It's spring. It's time for things that have gone dormant to grow. And so we're going to be talking about transformation in that way. And this is the page that I worked on. So if you want to see how I did that, please stay tuned. Let's get started. Okay, welcome everybody. Healing Art Happy Hour. Welcome to this Sunday. It's Easter Sunday if you celebrate, so happy Easter. So today's topic, this month's topic is nature. And last week we talked about origins and seeds, the start of growing something. And this week we're going to be talking about transformation. Once you plant the seed, there's transformation that happens, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So today's topic is transformation. And I know I had transition on the website. I meant to put transformation. And I thought a great symbol for that would be the butterfly, because the butterfly is a really beautiful symbol of transformation, going from the caterpillar and turning into that beautiful butterfly. And the caterpillar, and the quote that I chose is, "There is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. You look at a caterpillar, you don't know where it's going to go." And that's by R. Buckminster Fuller. And I think that's a great reminder that we don't have to always start out in a place where we can see the final results. We can start off, maybe we have some rough edges a little bit about ourselves, or even looking at that seed last week, that shriveled up little pebble that turns into a red onion. We don't know by looking at the origins, the seeds, what it's going to turn into and what it can be and what the potential is necessarily. But those beginnings are always going to offer some kind of potential, but we have to cultivate that. And it's a good reminder that even in our bodies, we are always in a transformation as well, not just butterflies. I mean, yeah, we grow up and we become an adult and we think, okay, we kind of, stop really transforming. We start to go into that, to the life cycle of death, right? Our body starts to decline at a certain point. And that's true. That's the cycles of nature, and that's normal. But one thing that's really cool is that our body is replenishing most of its cells every day. It's working on that. And so when we can remember that who I am in this moment is not the same being as I am going to be in 5 minutes from now, in an hour from now, tomorrow. When we can think about how we are replenishing our cells constantly, our body's working on that, and why it's so important to take care of ourselves and to keep those cells replenishing, we can also remember that it's never too late to make changes in our lives, to consciously be aware of what we can do to transform our lives. We are not necessarily stuck as being who we are. People say, oh, it's too late to learn something new or do something new or change who I am. And it's like, well, you're changing whether you want to or not. So take advantage of that concept and say, well, are there things that I want to change in my life? Or am I limiting myself only by my mind, only by what my beliefs are about who I can be and what I can be? If you asked me when I was even 5 years ago, if I would ever see myself as an athlete, I would tell you absolutely no. I've always been fairly active. I've always, dabbled in different sporty things, but my transition into pickleball has really pushed me into what I would say I'm an athlete. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm a hobby athlete, but I go into tournaments and things like that, and I'm challenging, and I would have never seen that in myself even a few years ago. So it's something that I had to let go of that mindset of, no, I can't be. Same thing as being an artist. If you asked me, a few years ago, are you an artist? I would say, no, I could never be an artist. And I hear that a lot from people. I'm not an artist. I could never be an artist. Well, how do you define an artist? And we can limit ourselves through this mindset. But if we cultivate an idea and say, you know what, I am an artist and I can believe that I can be an artist, I can see myself as an artist, that creative visualization of being an artist, then you at least have the potential or possibility to do it. If you don't even start there, if you just let go of the idea and just live in the thought of I can't or it's not possible, then you're not going to cultivate it and it's not going to happen. So you can make it not happen, but you can also cultivate it and make it happen. So this is just some fun facts about our body that's important to think about. The average age of our cells in our body are about 7 to 10 years. And our body replenishes at various rates, different cells. Blood, 120 days. For example, here's a list of different ones. Bones, 10 years. Those take quite a bit longer. Muscle and fat can take up to 70 years. The brain cells, they don't replenish. So if we damage our brain cells, you know, that's something that's permanent. And that's really important to remember. However, it's also important to remember that just because you can't create new neurons, new brain cells, you can create new neural pathways. So you can expand your mind, even if you can't replenish your actual brain, by learning new things, doing new behaviors, trying something out that's different. That grows our neural pathways. And that's what we're doing here. As we create, we are creating new neural pathways. We are growing our mind, even if we aren't growing our actual brain cells at this moment. But we're growing lots of other body cells as we sit here doing this as well. Keep that in mind. It's never too late to expand your mind, to try something new, to transition, to change your body, even though the muscles and fat don't replenish like other cells. You know, I'm feeling stronger than I did a year ago before I started playing. I know I'm developing muscles. I can see it in how I play. I can see it in transformation of my body. And I just thought, okay, I'm too old to do that. And it's not true. Don't let your mind stop you from letting you transform in your life. So we're going to do our writing exercise. As always, it's a 3-minute exercise where we just write. I'm going to say the topic is transformation, and you can either think about it in general with nature, or you can think about it in your own lives. If there's something you want to see maybe transform in your life, talk about that. And maybe give yourself a pep talk and say, you know what, maybe I can do X, Y, or Z. Or, think of ways that you might be limiting your own ability to have transformation. On your mark, get set, and write. Okay. And I wanted to finish that sentence because I was talking about some transformations I'd like to see in my own life. And I was on the sentence that said, it starts with attitude. And that's really true. It starts with an attitude of, I can make this change. I can have new patterns, new behaviors. And it's not too late for that. So hopefully you had some insights yourself, things you might want to put on your to-do list for transformation, or maybe you just really were aware that you feel like you're in a really good place and you really like how things are and your behaviors, and there's nothing you really feel like you need to change. You don't always have to feel like there's something you need to change. It's okay to be content with who you are and accepting of where you are in that moment, and celebrate that too. Or that's even better, I guess, if you feel like you're in a really good place. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the prompts for today and show you what I've gathered for those. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk a little bit about is the color scheme for today. And what I did, what I do sometimes to do random is I actually took this color wheel and I adapted it with something from a game that I had, Chutes and Ladders. So I spun it and it landed on violet. And so my random number generator had actually selected a triad, and a triad is 3 colors that can either be equidistant on the color wheel, or it can be the color and then the two, and then if you go across from that color, it's kind of like a skinny triangle, and it's hard to see the triangle underneath the spinner, but it basically is the two colors on either side of the complementary color. So that's the triad that I'm doing. It's kind of a skinny triangle. So you don't have to use violet, yellow, orange, and yellow, green if you don't want to. You can use any color, and then just the two, if you want to follow the triad that I'm doing, it's any color, and then the two colors that are on either side of the color opposite on the color wheel. So if it was red, it would be these two colors. And that's on the color wheel. You can kind of look at it. If you don't have this tab there, you can see the little triangles. So that's the color scheme that I'm going to be working with. And the subject is butterfly. So what I pulled together for butterflies is a variety of things, including this is some scrapbook paper, which is also one of the prompts that had butterflies on it. And some of them were the color of some of the colors that I'm using. I found this in a magazine, and I thought that was kind of cool looking. These are just other ones that this was from that scrapbook paper as well. This is a printed one that I cut out, and then I found some digital pictures of butterflies that I had printed out, so I just grabbed that, and I also printed it on tissue paper. And then I grabbed a bunch of stamps. I even have a little caterpillar. I might want to incorporate that in since I'm talking about transformation, but just a variety of butterfly stamps. And then I had these stickers that actually had that kind of yellow green color in it, so that could be fun. And then I had die cuts in shapes of butterflies as well. So the pattern that I chose for today is floral, and that goes nicely with butterflies because they like to hang out near flowers. So I grabbed, this was from a calendar, so that has some flowers in the yellow, orange, and the violet color. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then a bunch of flower stamps. And then I just grabbed a bunch of papers, scrapbook papers with the color theme as well that have florals in them too. And then I have to do something with sandpaper. So I have just some sandpaper. We'll see what I do with that. I have some ideas. And then for my medium, I have acrylic markers. So I'm going to be using some of these today. Mostly I like to use these for detail work. And this is a mix of some of the Faber-Castell Pitt artist pen and then the Posca. And then I have some other acrylic paints and things in the color schemes available also to assist. The theme is transformation, the subject butterfly, the color is the triad, violet, yellow, green, yellow, orange. The pattern is floral, and the medium is acrylic markers. And that's random number generator 11 if you're using the numbers. And then the tool or technique is sandpaper. And that's random number generator 27. And then the collage material is scrapbook papers. I'm going to start with a collage, as I often do. If I'm going to use collage at all, it's usually where I start. And I think I want to maybe just tear strips of these different papers and create kind of like layering effect, kind of like a landscape. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Healing Art After Hours. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment if you find my content helpful. Thank you. And as always, happy creating. Love you.